All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. on October the 7th, 2021, and this is my trading strategy session. So first thing up, let's go over the broader market first, and then we can go into the individual stocks. Right now, if the SPY opened up, it would open up nearly 1% higher than yesterday's close at 439.01. We'll see what that looks like when it comes closer to the opening bell. The VIX is dipping back into the gap here. So you can see here, this is the gap that was created at the end of February 2020 when the lockdown started in the United States. And it's been somewhat relevant. Now it's, there was a recent spike in volatility, and there was an elevated period of volatility there with the debt ceiling being used as a political football. So it looks as though that debt ceiling tension is going to be alleviated, that the senators and so forth will do the right thing. And so the market is responding positively to the debt ceiling being taken off the table as some kind of a political tool to apply pressure. So then Bitcoin here really kind of spiked in this political pressure, and this is interesting. This is really, Bitcoin has really turned out to be an alternative investment when, you can't go to metals if metals aren't performing, and the stock market, say S&P, the various sectors of the S&P aren't performing. Bitcoin really kind of stepped in where, people didn't want to go to cash. They wanted to put their money somewhere. Bitcoin definitely stepped in. So then we have the dollar here. The dollar is attempting to weaken. Let me check today's levels real quick. This level right here at 94.61 is a former resistance level. Let me check and see what the updated level is here real quick. US dollar, okay, 94.51 is now the new top end of the US dollar range. It's good to see it coming down. And then the bottom end of the range is 92.68. Oh, good. Yeah, so they're both moving down. 92.68. Oops. 2.68. Okay, that's good news. So then there's gonna be an indirect effect on oil. So I'm buying the dips on oil here. I know there's been an announcement for some sort of alleviation of natural gas and oil by Russia or something like that, but they might alleviate the sort of demand concerns, but they're going to do it at the right price. So although I think that Russia's announcement that's going to help out with Europe's natural gas demand, or whoever's short of natural gas, I'm not sure, I think that may have slowed things down a bit. And natural gas took a pretty big hit from what I understand yesterday. I'll have to look at it. But otherwise, I don't think it's actually going to stop the bull market in natural gas or energies for that matter. I think it's just going to slow it down a little bit. So I'm looking to, I'll probably, buy today and I'm interested in BNO, and I'll buy it on a dip. Here's the daily right here. And so this 2131 level right here, 2198 level right here, I kind of thought it would be significant resistance. Here is the price. This is B&O in early January of 2020, before the big dump happened with everything being shut down. So 2198 is the level right here. Let me kind of clean it up a little bit so that it's easier to see. Yeah, 21.98 I think is going to be rather significant resistance. I think it's going to probably consolidate for a little while. I don't know how long. Underneath of 21.98 and then pop through when it's ready. And a weakening dollar will help that. Dollar that weakens will be an assist to B&O getting up. There's kind of an interesting thing that happens though, is that as energy is the number one thing that is traded worldwide in the US dollar. I don't know how many trillions of dollars, but it's in the trillions per day are swapped back and forth for the purchase of energy. And the higher the price goes on energy, the more demand there is for dollars. So it's this kind of interesting dynamic. You'll see energy prices go up and the dollar strengthen at the same time. I don't know how it comes to equilibrium or how that works exactly, the dynamics, but eventually the best thing to happen is that the dollar continues to weaken somehow, even as energy demand, levels out or goes up. We'll see what happens with all this. It'll be interesting. Silver is getting a little bit of a haircut this morning by about 30. It looks like pre-market it went up to as high as 21.11. Now it's dumping back down. I'm interested in getting into a silver position. It's bearish right now. It's coming into a significant level of support right here. Oops. You can see this area. So it bounced. Here's a gap. This is interesting. See, this is the bottom of a gap. It was gapping up, and this is the bottom of the gap. And it recently, silver came down and touched right off the top of that gap and bounced up rather significantly. I wasn't buying on this day. I was kind of watching. I was like, oh, is it going to stop at this gap? Because there's another gap over here too. This thing gapped up. Let's see, what is this? This is July of 2020. So silver gapped up from 1860 here to $19, and so I wasn't sure which gap that it was going to use to bounce off of. I mean, it would have been this would have been a good trade. This would have been a good spot to have bought some silver contracts. I didn't do it. So now just kind of watching. It looks like there's a little bit of a bull flag trying to shape up here. Oops. Doing a great job of drawing there. Well, I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on it and we'll see where a good entry will be. I'm bullish silver eventually, some point. Okay, now for the single stocks here, there's NFE. NFE is catching a bid this morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's an earnings call that's happening right now on NFE, and it's the news on the earnings call that this thing popped up on, which I think is a little bit strange. The earnings call is happening right now as we speak. Obviously, I'm not listening to it. So we'll see what happens when this thing opens up. We'll see. You can see here there's been a little bit of an accelerated amount of volume being traded on it. You can't really trust trading views numbers. I'm going to go to my level 2 here. Let's see. New Fortress Energy. It's traded 130,000 shares pre-market. Let's see what it's outstanding. It only has 22 million shares outstanding. 23. Well, actually, let's move over. 206 million shares outstanding at this point. Let me move that Fibonacci out of the way. So, okay, what happens here today? I don't know. I'll watch the open. I'll watch this thing to see where it opens, where it finds support in the Fibonacci scale. A push past the open, a push past the 75% level. An average, I might average in between 61.8 and 50. So, we'll just have to see what happens. TTM, Tata Motors. So this is interesting here. Let's go to the daily first. Let me get the Fibonacci out of the way. So see this daily chart right here? We've got a high on the 8th of February 2021 that connects to a high of June 8th, 2021. And here we have it gapping up this morning. And you can see it gapped right up into that support and resistance line, right? And I'm interested in this one. Let me put the Fibonacci back up. But I don't know where I'm interested in it. So it's going to be like NFE. You know, I'm going to watch the open, a sell off, some profit taking, and then a push past the open again will be bullish. The 75% level, a dip down below, then a push past that, it's bullish. And then possibly I might average in between the 61.8 and the .5. And we'll see, how it works. The reason that I'm bullish on Tata Motors is here's India. Here's the ETF for India, INDA. And India's economy is forecast to do well over the next 2 quarters. And it's a bit of a bright spot in the Asian continent right now. China, I think Vietnam, I don't remember all the different countries, but they're going through, even South Korea and Japan are going through a little bit of a pullback right now, but India is not. And so here's the chart. Let's look at the chart for India. We've got this really nice trend right here, headed up. And then we've got this little bit of consolidation happening right here. And so, a break of this consolidation, will be really good for the movement on India. I think that as tensions in the United States ease, it'll help ease other developing nations as well. And then, of course, a weakening dollar. The dollar is, dropping down from the top end of its risk range. A weakening dollar will be good for an emerging market or developing, India. So, that's India. That's Tata Motors. I'm interested. I don't know where I'm interested yet, but I'm interested. We'll see where it gives a trade. So now BILI and JD, they're Chinese. Both of them are Chinese stocks. I don't really like anything Chinese, and for the foreseeable future, really. I know China is like an emerging, first world power. But they're still communist, and they can still just put the kibosh. They can, close down a business by, the wave of a hand. It seems like, it's just so. The things that they did to the online education. I mean, fortunately, I wasn't invested in any of it, but also to Baba and so on and so on. I just don't trust anything that the Chinese are dealing, are putting out there. And for whatever reason, and I don't know why, everyone who is listed on any of the U.S. exchanges are required to follow the GAAP rules, the generally accepted accounting principles, except for China. China's allowed to just kind of make pool numbers out of their backside and hand them over as though they're legitimate in their earnings calls. I just don't like the lack of accountability there. And I don't understand why we allow that to happen, where everyone else has to work their fannies off in order to maintain compliance with market requirements, with listing requirements, but the Chinese don't. So, again, I won't watch these two as closely as I will NFE and TTM. It could be to my detriment. This bias that I have against China could be to my detriment, but they're on watch. And so if they start doing something and they reveal a trade, then I'll take it. MRNA, actually, it's too bad that I closed. I had a short on MRNA and on NVAX, and I closed them both this morning. They were both popping up. I'm bearish these things. If you look here, let me pull this up. This is the daily. Let me make it the monthly, and I think things will be a little bit more clear here. look at this chart, and this is why I'm bearish on MRNA. Get this stuff out of the way. And just delete that. Maybe I won't delete it. I'll just keep it there. But if this were a momentum stock, you know, I probably, if I were looking at this and this was like a 1 minute chart instead of a 1 month chart, you know, I would have entered right here for the break of 189.26, and then probably would have exited somewhere around 376.51 if I were trading momentum. If I were trading this like I was a momentum stock. Of course, this is the monthly. So that is an extremely bearish looking stock chart. Two gigantic topping tails, enormous topping tails. And now it's rolling over. I imagine that this thing will probably do something quite similar to the run-up here. You can see this big breakup candle, this big run-up candle. I imagine that there will be something similar, maybe not all in one fell swoop. It might, you know, kind of take its time, but this thing's going down. It's just an extremely bearish chart. I think the COVID-19 threat is pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to comment on it. I'll just stop there. NVAX, same story. The monthly chart on NVAX looks a little bit different. A little bit different there, a little bit more consolidation happening, but again, this thing, as of February 3rd, 2020, it was going for, let's see, $7. It opened at $7.26 a share. So you made a high of 331. MRNA, let's look at the monthly here. Let's see. January of 2020, this thing was going for roughly somewhere around $19 to $20 a share, right? And here it went up to 500. So I'd say the run up on this is overdone, and now it's coming back down. I think it's safe to say. So I'll be looking for short opportunities on this. And it's too bad the pre-market. I only had 10 shares short on both MRNA and NVAX, but now here they are pre-market coming back down. So I think there's going to be a little bit more of a struggle around 300 for mRNA, but it won't last long. All right, NVAX, LW. LW reported earnings this morning, and it has gotten its rear end handed to it. I think there's a bounce that'll happen at $53.61. And so I'll be averaging into a very small position for a very quick trade around 53.61. I'll probably stagger 4 entries, 25 shares each, evenly around 53.61, somewhere between, let's see, 1%. So about probably 25 cents, about 53 cents would be a 1% move. So I'll stagger in order for 25 shares evenly between, let's say, 54.11 down to 53.11 or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. And then AFRM. I'm watching AFRM. I have options on AFRM that I started buying down in here, right in here on the 4th of October. Yeah, the 4th and 5th of October. I don't remember if I bought any on the 5th or not. Definitely I did. I definitely did on the 4th. And it really went and took off like a rocket yesterday. I imagine that there's probably going to be some consolidation after a move like that, but ultimately the destination is 146.90. My strikes are for 140, and my expiration is the 21st of January 2022. Okay, so that is my morning strategy session. NFE, TTM, they're the ones that I'm paying most attention to. BILI, JD, I will take a small amount of risk, and I mean like 20 shares on each of these if they start to perform. MRNA and NVAX, I'm looking for entries to go short. Let's see, let me pull up the fib on MRNA. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah, so actually the entry that I had on MRNA was at 315. That probably, I'll probably regret letting go of that 315 entry. And NVAX is at 168.97. I wonder if we can get a bounce up. NVAX is a little bit more volatile. Oh crap, I moved the Fibonacci. Let me move it back. I hate it when I do that. So NVAX is a little bit more volatile. So this 167.67, I don't even know what I said just a few minutes ago. I don't even know if that's the right, anyway, whatever. Yeah, around in this area, I'll see if we can get a bounce up, and I'll see if I can get a good entry on NVAX. MRNA, I imagine it's probably just a good spot to enter today. Okay, everybody. That is my morning strategy session. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you at the recap. I am out.